shopping, and they came to me, and they said, Pastor, I was depressed, and I spent my mortgage. I need help. What do you suggest? I said, I have the answer for you, and I'm going to get your money back for you. Just take all the merchandise you brought with the receipt, take it back, and get your money.
Right.
Very simple. But see, people say, well, I get depressed, so I'm going shopping. Well, guess what? When the bill comes in, you got to pay the bill.
And you know, Pastor, not only that, because I truthfully cannot think of, don't take this to heart, but I really and truly cannot think of anything I need right now or anything I truly want. And I feel truly blessed by that. But in getting into the holiday spirit, I find myself forcing myself to go to, the mall and look, and go to the other places and look. And if you go look, you're going to buy.
It's called temptation. That's why you don't need to go. And you just said you don't need, so what are you doing out there?
Yeah. And if you go, you really should go with someone who can help to kind of temper your temptations, right? Because Pastor would make sure I don't spend a dime, or if I spend a dime, I spend it on him, which I may or may not do. But, when I went also, I took my friend girl with me, and I would ask her, say, do I need this? And she'd say, do you really need that? Do you really want that? Or you say, how does this look? And they look at you cross-eyed, so that's not a good thing for you too. So it's always good and fun to, if you go with somebody, which adds to the security of it all as well, Pastor, and makes it a little bit more enjoyable. And, during this time, Pastor, and let's talk about this as well, that this is a time which is a difficult time for a lot of people. It's a time when, I haven't heard the most recent in terms of the decision on Capitol Hill about the unemployment insurance continuing.
Extended to 2 months.
Okay, they did get the agreement on the part of others.
I heard that just before I came here.
Okay, all right, good. Maybe the pressure of what the party that was kind of holding out, maybe the pressure of the people and what they'd have to deal with kind of took hold. But even with that, people are on unemployment, and at a certain point it will end. People are, at this point, if it's been approved, that the Social Security tax reduction will continue, but even that will at some point come to an end. Medicare, as far as the doctor's coverage of that, and I found that, Pastor, when I went through that car accident, and I had to go to doctors that were willing to take the same amount that Medicare provides, I too found that there are many who are not willing to do that. So I really have to give a shout out to those doctors that are willing to work within the schedule of Medicare and what the government is willing to pay to provide health care for patients, because it's not a heck of a lot. And for them, when they could be taking patients that pay a lot more, I really have to applaud them and what they have done and what they continue to do. So for all of those doctors, I just say thank you. And thank you for continuing to give of your service for the amount that you are paid. But individuals are, Pastor, going through a great deal. And I think it's important for them to know that the things, when you have children, I know it's hard to say no, and it's hard for them not to get all of these presents and this, that, and the other. But I and you can think back to a time when we were younger when, we were blessed to have 1 or 2 toys. But even when I was growing up, I can remember the year, I was kind of a tomboy when I was growing up. So I can remember the time that my parents actually got me some, because I watched a lot of, the Westerns at that time. So they got me these guns, with a holster, with the, cap pistols type things. And I got that, and I got a bicycle, and I was happy. And of course, we got one outfit for church. But we only got the 1 or 2 gifts, and now, parents feel inclined to do and spend buku money, when the truth is that we can say no, and we can get our children 1 or 2 gifts and an outfit or work with some of these groups out there that are willing to share and to provide some things to you as well. And give the gift that really matters, and that gift is truly your time, giving of yourself. I tell you, your children many times would appreciate just some quality time with you. You know, going to the park, or going to church, or going to, just somewhere walking or jogging, or, just playing with them, playing a sport, playing, catch, or playing, some kind of basketball or something else, or just, playing a race game where you don't have to have brought or purchased a basketball or baseball or whatever else, and you're just, playing tag or something like that. But that's the type of thing, gift that you can give that really does not cost you anything, again, but your time and that quality time that you spend with family members.
One other thing I want to point out is this time of the year we find people become depressed over the loss of a loved one, or they don't have the finances to do for their family members. I think we had a young lady jumped off the bridge the other day, and she was rescued by police and firemen. You have somebody that people will call in and contemplate suicide because they don't think they can make it in the holidays to be happy.
Because we put values really on the wrong things.
I tell people all the time, and one of the jobs I had, that was one of my past police department, was to counsel people that had contemplated suicide. And I remember one man called, and I found out when people call you to tell you they're contemplating suicide, they're not really ready to do it.
Crying out
they're
for
crying
help.
out for help. And I remember the man had a gun, he was sucking on the barrel of it, and I replaced the barrel and gave him a bottle of liquor till he got drunk. We were ready to get the barrel out of away from him, and I remember something he said, "Man, I'm glad you got that gun from me, because I sure didn't want to kill myself." But at the same time, people get depressed.
Still a serious time, yes.
It's what am I going to do? What am I going to get? But we need to realize that there are people less fortunate than we are. When you think that you're really doing bad, remember there's always someone worse off than you are. And if we're to be the citizens that we ought to be, we ought to be able to give a helping hand to those kids that can't afford a pair of shoes, kids that need clothes, and be your neighbor's keeper, if you will. We went back to that. We don't have that anymore. You doing all right? I'm doing all right. It's not my problem. It's all of our problems eventually. And if we don't deal with it before it becomes a crime problem, the crime problem could come out on us. So at the same time, we've got to stay prayerful. And I'd like to give these scriptures out for people to read through the holidays, especially getting depressed. That's the 37th Psalms, the 91st Psalms, and the 23rd Psalm. Read those three scriptures that will help you through the holiday. And remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. When you get depressed, I think that everybody going through times now, and like I say, the mortgage, the car payment, people, if you got food on your table, I'm here tonight to tell you that you're blessed. If you have a roof over your head, you're blessed, because there are actually people that don't have a roof over their head. There are people that are hungry today. There are people that are contemplating suicide right as we speak. And so we've got to, and every 30 seconds somebody has a heart attack. So we got to be careful what we eat, because if we're having a heart attack every 30 seconds, that means we're not taking care of ourselves. So we've got to be mindful. We got to be prayerful, and not only, as I say, you got to not only pray for yourself, you got to pray for your neighbor, pray for your loved ones, pray for them that despitefully use you. God says, "I will fight your battles." But until, and when folk ask God for something, you got to claim it. God will not give you what you don't need.
And have patience
to
wait on God.
And when you go to the mall, God is not going to give you a buggy full of clothes. So don't go out there saying, "I prayed to God for a buggy." Oh, that's another thing I want to say. There's a lot of people shoplifting because they want to provide for what the kids have asked for, but they know they don't have the money. They go out there with the intent to steal.
And then they end up getting locked up, and then you're not there for your family, which
correct.
They would prefer to have you as opposed to all of those gifts and all those buggy full of whatevers, you being there is worth more than you can imagine.
And by the way, when people shout that the consumer pays for it, the price goes up, we pay for it. And also, you got to remember that if somebody goes out there to steal something, they can become violent because they're going to try to get away. You have to be mindful of that. Keep your nose out of people's business when you're in the mall. When I'm saying out of people's business, don't go up asking people why they're doing it. Somebody saw somebody shoplifting the other day, and they went and told the store manager. Well, they got the people, but first they went and said something. Why you steal it? Well, what if that person would have pulled out a knife or a gun? Because they would have thought you were security. That's not for you to do. Just go tell the proper authorities, whether it be the management or whether it be security. And
Pastor, as we're sharing too, we need to be grateful as in line with what you're saying, with what we have and how we've been blessed. There are people who have no shoes to wear, but there are other people who have no feet. You know, there are people who have pain in their body, and there are other people who are paralyzed from their neck down and can't feel anything. There are people who, need glasses, and sometimes they have the glasses and they're so prideful they won't wear the glasses when there are other people who are blind and can't see. Or people who, they're concerned because their nails look kind of raggedy because they can't afford to go to, the nail shop or whatever, but there are other people who've lost fingers, or they've lost hands, or people who are just so much worse off than we are. So we should be grateful. Just be grateful that God has blessed us in such a way to have whatever it is we have. And he says in his word, Pastor, that it's only to the extent that we're grateful for the little that we have that he will bless us with more.
When Jesus was on earth, and this is Jesus' birthday, by the way, so when Jesus was he on earth, he did not hang out at the Hilton. He was on the avenue with the prostitutes and the pimps. He was there to tell them the story that you can be saved, you can be changed, your life can be changed right now, right today. And people need to realize if you're living a life of pride, if you're down on, when you think that you're down on life, I encourage you to turn your life over to Christ and see if there's a new change in your life. God will put somebody in your life to help you make it financially, make it physically, and most of all, make it spiritually. But you got to pray. Be careful what you ask God for, because some things we ask for is just the gimmies. Not that we need them, we just want them. God, I always pray every day that God provide, let me be a provider for my family. Let me be able to, I don't ask for crazy stuff. If I got a car, thank God for a car. If God blesses you with a car, don't mean you need a Cadillac. So some people think that that's the way God works. I mean, it doesn't work that way. God doesn't answer all your prayers. Excuse me. Especially when you pray selfish prayers. Especially when you're only praying for yourself and your family. Because there are other families hurting as well. As I lead prayer with you every day, I always pray for other people before I pray for my family.
Including our enemies.
And I pray for my enemies if I have them.
And when we say God doesn't answer prayers, he answers all prayers, but sometimes his answer is no, and sometimes his answer is wait. So you don't get people like the pastor wait for these instant answers to prayers, like the microwave answers, and sometimes it's not a microwave. It's not it's not what they call it. It's not a sprint. It's a anyways, it's not a quick thing that you're involved in. It's something that sometimes takes time, because while you're waiting for something to happen, you're being developed, you're being changed, and you're being readied for that change in your life. So we want just to go ahead and just to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and the happiest of New Year's. And we want you to know that you're not alone, that we're all a part of this great universe, and we all have purpose, and we all have something that we contribute to this world as we know it. And we all have something that makes us special and unique. And it's that uniqueness and that special part of us that contributes to the overall totalness of all of us in this great world that we call community. So, Pastor